All right, hey everybody, Nicastro here, CMSWire managing editor with one of our CMSWire contributors, those who come from the trenches and give us all their infinite wisdom on our website. Anita Brearton, what's going on, Anita?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me. This sounds like we're going to have a fun discussion.
We are. We're just going to empty the tank here on all things digital transformation, because that's your latest article with CMSWire here, talking about the very subject of, is it time to just never say digital transformation again? I mean, that's the thesis of your article, right?
It is. And it's funny because if we say yes to that, then it cuts off other inspirational ideas for writing articles. I've written so much about digital transformation over the last few years, but yes, I think we're at a point now where I think that terminology needs to be retired.
Especially since we were using it long before COVID too. I mean, I remember past DX Summits, our conference that CMSWire puts on in Chicago, when we had it in Chicago, now it's virtual. I remember these practitioners actually talking about digital transformation back then, 2015, 16, 17. Yeah. I mean, it was out there. And now that, to me, it's like, and I think you mentioned this in the article, like, this is acceleration. It's not, it's not transformation. This has already happened. We're accelerating now.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when I started writing about digital transformation, what people were talking about at the time were these big corporate initiatives, like somebody was being given responsibility for digital transformation. And I think for many, that made it too big of a mountain to climb and too daunting, and people weren't sure what that actually meant, and people were getting wrapped around the axle as, do we have to have AI to consider it's digitally transformed? And really, at the end of the day, what digital transformation means is bringing technology, more and more technology, into the business to make processes more efficient and automated, and using technology to create innovative customer experiences, right? So if you approach it from that perspective, then you realize, well, we've been doing this, right? You look at, well, marketing is like the best example, right? We've just bolted up marketing with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tools. The average marketing department's using as many as 250 tools at one time, technology tools, to acquire and engage customers. And marketing is always trying to innovate in that last moment of how they engage and where they engage. And they're using technology to do that. But, when you think across the rest of the corporation, outwardly, we're seeing all the signs of digital transformation. Go to the airport, you can check in yourself. You can even print your own luggage tags. You can Instacart your food. You've got QR codes for restaurants, right? So we're seeing, evidence of what used to be called digital transformation. So I think kind of talking about it as this big behemoth thing is doing everybody a disservice. It's really, technology is here to stay in the corporation.
Yeah.
I can't think of a job in the corporation that doesn't require technology. So it's really more about technology strategy, acceleration, how we introduce, how we connect, who's in charge of it, all of that. So I don't think we need to talk about digital transformation anymore. I think we're all digitally transformed. And if we weren't before the pandemic, we certainly are now.
I know. One of the points you make in the article too on CMSWire is their organizations, despite all the influence of technology, they're having trouble finding an actual center of truth, like with their technology stack. Like, why is that? What are you seeing out there?
No, so I think one of the things that's really interesting is because of how technology has been brought into the organization, right? So as at the point in time at which we started to introduce technology, that was kind of at the same point of time that SaaS was being introduced. And so all of a sudden, we can pay for things in $10 chunks every month and $50 chunks for a lot of technology. And so people have kind of not run amok, because it was not ill-intentioned, but people have grab technology to help them improve things and do things better or try new things. And that has been very distributed. And so corporations are now saying, we have all this technology, we're spending all this money on this technology. Are we getting a return for our investment? And they have no way of looking at that because they don't have that source of truth. And so they don't know what they've got in their basket. And, and a lot of technology today, in order to realize the value of it, it needs to connect to something else. So if it's not been connected to other platforms, then they're not seeing the value of what they've paid for. So I think it's been distributed purchasing, small ticket items that have built over time, products that are easy to use, so you don't need IT involved, and then it's just gotten away from everybody. So we do see, certainly in our world, we do see this move towards getting to a technology source of truth.
Yeah. And finally, looking ahead, you've been a CMSWire contributor since 2019 now. Is that the gig?
Yeah, it's a long time.
And I love it. And, you're one of those in the trenches folks who just takes what's in here and shares it with our readers. We can't thank you enough. What can we expect going forward? Any sneak peek? I won't hold you down to it if you change your mind. It's a rapidly changing world, Anita, but anything we can expect going forward for some copy on CMSWire from you?
Yeah, so I think, so I'm buried in the trenches of marketing technology. And most of the time, my inspiration for articles comes from discussions I'm having with customers or with the community and people raising questions. But I think, we're recognizing that we've got our hands around technology. We now have to look at how it plays together and how we share the data that we're gathering with that technology. So, I think my articles are going to continue to be about marketing technology, its application, its uses. I love writing about new innovative ways to market. So I'm excited to see what this year brings, because you never know what's around the corner.
Case in point, you never know what you're going to see in an airport when you're walking by a ladies' room, because that's what inspired this article.
That's right. That's right. The hands-free entrance to the ladies' room, which I was thrilled about. You just don't know, right? And I think that's what's exciting. I remember when we started our company, people said to us, well, this is very short-sighted. Somebody's going to document their stack and then they're done, and so we used to talk about all the time, no, they change and they evolve and this, that, and the other. And if you think, since we started our company, TikTok didn't exist. Clubhouse didn't exist. All of these channels and opportunities, people weren't really podcasting. And now look at all of this wonderful content that's being delivered that way. So there's continue as long as human beings change their behavior, there will be innovation in marketing, because we have to respond to that.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'll be writing about.
I can't wait. Anita Brearton, you're a big part of that contributor family on CMSWire. We can't thank you enough for being a part of it and joining us today. So thanks, and looking forward to the next article.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
All righty.